I'd love to sit down with the president, businessman to businessman, and have a conversation with them.
Premier Doug Ford was in living rooms across America Tuesday night, speaking to CNN's Aaron Burnett about why Canada isn't the enemy, as the potential for Donald Trump's 25% trade tariff threat gets closer and closer.
I love the American people. I spent 20 years of my life there in Chicago, in our Chicago facility in New Jersey. I love Americans. I love the U.S.
Ford also lent his voice to articles in other American outlets like the Associated Press and New York Times, but how much of an impact it will all have is up for debate.
To be honest, while Ontario is, I guess in population, is probably the leading province and leading trade with the United States, nevertheless, what a provincial premier says doesn't get much attention in the U.S.
He says that's because it's seen as a federal government to federal government issue, not province to state. But one thing Ford has threatened could get people's attention: cutting off energy exports.
I mean, all Canada would have to do is interrupt electricity for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and that would be well noticed. Blackouts are something that get people's attention.
Though some other premiers have not followed suit, Alberta's Danielle Smith says her province won't cut off oil and gas exports. And when asked about his threat on CNN, the premier shifted focus.
That's the last thing I want to do. I want to sell more electricity, more power to our U.S. friends and closest allies in the world. But that's a tool that we have in our toolbox.
Trump is using the tariffs to force Canada to bolster border security. As chair of the Premier's Council, Ford has been front and center throughout the saga, instead of the president-elect's direct counterpart, who's facing scandal in Ottawa.
Mr. Ford is more visible because Mr. Trudeau's in crisis, doesn't have the time to really expend on this file. But it's not like he's really connected to the levers that are going to be making the final decisions. So it's hard to see him really as a leader on this file.
That expert says, faced with an inability to negotiate with Trump directly, Doug Ford's solution is to do what he can, like speaking to Americans. He says that may be beneficial for Canada because Ford may be able to tap into a conservative Trump base that wouldn't listen to Justin Trudeau. Lane Harrison, CBC News, Toronto.